Ladies and gentlemen, this your boy 6 Gear Cutlow, and it's finally time for the 1,000 mile 2022 Yamaha Tracer 9 GT review, baby. Let's do this. It's early in the morning. I think it's maybe 8 o'clock. What we got? It's probably about what, 50 something degrees, maybe 50 something degrees right now. Friday, of course. I like to call it Fast Fridays. And we're gonna slide to my favorite spot. Y'all know my favorite spot by now, man. It's the river. Just to give you guys a brief look of what we're working with here. Let's zoom in on this. Y'all can see that we had 1,200. We actually had 1,200. What is this? 1,227 miles right now. So we're a little over 1,000 miles as expected. The trip to the mountains really did it for me. I think I was on maybe like 750, 800 before I went to the mountains. Come back from the mountains and I got 1,100, 1,200 miles on this bad boy. So just kind of give you guys a background of how I like to do things. I didn't want to give a review on this bad boy until I actually got moving on it and got at least 1,000 miles on this bad boy. I wanted to do that first, so I can give you a detailed review. You know, it's hard to review something if you haven't really ridden it, and I've been everywhere with this bad boy so far. I've been in the mountains, I've been on the highway, I've been on the back streets, I've been in the cold, I've been in the heat. We're gonna go over things like the windscreen. Everybody wants to know about the windscreen. I wanted to know about the windscreen because that's the biggest gripe that most people have with this bike. And you know, we'll start with the windscreen. First off, the windscreen is decent. And the reason why I say it's decent is because I haven't experienced other windscreens, right? But this one doesn't really bother me that much. Now, I do get buffeting, and when I first got this, the buffeting did bother me. It did bother me because I wasn't used to it. I think I've kind of gotten used to it. And the crazy part about the buffeting on this is that you really don't feel it until you up to like 75 miles per hour. I don't know how many kilometers that is for my people over in Europe watching this, but you got Google, figure it out. But when you get above 75 miles per hour, that's when you can feel the buffeting a little bit. Like I said, I'm 6'2", so I'm a little taller than what the windscreen coverage does. So it really hits at like the wind, my bad. The wind actually hits at like the top of my head. So it's not too bad, but I can see how it could get annoying after a very long ride on the highway. Now, I've been on a few very long rides with this bad boy. Some of it was highway action, and a lot of it was back road action. I actually want to move this mirror up, so yeah, there we go. But a lot of it was back road action, so what was I hitting? Like maybe 65, 70, little spurts of 80, 90, and 100 on the back roads, but little spurts of it. I would assume that taking this bad boy on the highway and just straight up, not gunning it, but just straight up hitting about 80 miles per hour the whole way, it could possibly cause a headache. Now, one of the solutions that I found, a lot of people who got this bike, they've gotten one of those things that goes on the top. It's kind of like a visor that kind of helps out with the buffeting on there. So I might invest in one of those pretty soon here, just to check it out and see how it works. So there it is with the windscreen. Oh, I ordered a sport screen for this. I should have just waited because I'll probably be using this mostly all winter. So I probably should have just waited. But I ordered a sport screen for this bad boy. Go, man. So I'm gonna test that bad boy out and see what's goody with that. All right, moving forward. This bike, like I said in many other videos that I've used this bike on, the main thing I like about this bike is how comfortable it is. It is extremely comfortable. Most comfortable bike I've ever been on. With that said, I went on a long trip to the mountains. And the trip up there was cool. We stopped maybe, what did we stop? Once. We stopped once on about a hour-and-a-half trip to the mountains, and I was perfectly fine, no aches, none of that. It was all good. Now, we were in the mountains riding around for probably about maybe 2 hours of riding in the mountains. It took us about an hour and a half to really get there, and we spent about 2 hours riding in the mountains, and then took us an hour and a half to get back, and then another hour to get home. So I spent about 5 hours on this bad boy. Now, while we were in the mountains, we made a couple stops, and it really wasn't bad, you know? It really wasn't bad at all. But on the trip back, I swear we rode for like, oh, there go the cops up there. Yeah, don't go through here clowning. But on the trip back, we rode about, man, I don't want to say 3. We rode about like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours straight on this bad boy without stuff. Nah, it had to be about 2 hours. I'll check the review and look at it. I mean, not the review, but the tape, and look at how long we was actually on this bad boy. But it had to be about 2 hours, man. We in the mountains and we ride in about 2 hours, and then we head straight back with no stops, right? So I want to say it was about 2 hours of straight ride, maybe 2.5. This tank is huge, so the gas lasts all day, right? Now, I'm with one of my buddies, Matt. You know what I mean? Like, y'all gonna see him in the video. But he used to ride, like, he's used to riding those long distances. Me, I'm not. So I'm not gonna totally blame it on the bike. But after 2 hours straight of just being on this, man, my butt was hurting and my knees were hurting. But I think my knees were hurting because I had on the pants that got the knees and the shin guards right here. And when you got your leg angled like this, the pressure of the knee pad is constantly on your knee. So I think that's part of the reason why my knee was hurting. But man, my butt was on fire. Like, I'm like begging, like, man, I hope this dude stop. But you know the type of rider I am, I'm not gonna be the one to like just straight up, yo man, can you stop? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna take the pain until it's unbearable or whatever. So it did get rough 2 hours straight on this. But like I said, I'm not gonna really blame the bike, because if I'm doing a long trip, what I'll end up doing is I'll probably stop every hour, maybe every hour and a half I would make a stop. You know what I mean? A decent stop too, to where I stop, rest, maybe get some snacks, get some drinks, use the bathroom. So you're looking at like a 20-minute stop, maybe a 30-minute stop, right? If I was doing that, then the pain wouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Because the bike is absolutely that was my first time ever having any pain on this bike. So it's a very comfortable bike. If you want to use it for long trips, this is the bike that you want. Just make sure you know, taking some stops with it. The engine, the power and the torque of this bike is perfect for what I need. riding around the street, the throttle is smooth, not a twitchy throttle at all. And the power is so good that you can pull out, you know what I mean, and get on the street with a car coming and still have enough speed to get up out of the way before the car really does something. Whoa, that was a squirrel. Before the car really does something, you know what I'm saying? So the power on this bad boy is good money. Mind you, I'm coming from a ZX10 to this, so you know what I mean, for somebody that's like coming from a 400 to this, the power might be a little more or something like that, but to me it's perfect. It's perfect for what I need it for, perfect for the streets and all that. Also, another thing about this bike that I really like, she trying to get that dog to move. That dog like, man, I'm tired of walking. Man, some of y'all be walking y'all dogs too much, man. Y'all going on 10-mile walks, man. This dog is tired, bruh. But the water level looking kind of low. He's standing up over there in that water. It's looking like a swamp now. It is a swamp. I didn't know that water was. Wow, I didn't know that. But man, another thing I like about this bike is it's a naked bike, and this is my first naked bike, meaning like there's not really any fairings on this bad boy. You can see all the engine parts that you need to see, all the stuff that you need to see to work on is easily accessible. You know what I mean? I love that about that bike, and that's gonna be with any naked bike. So it's not just a specific thing about this bike, but I love that about this bike. Another thing I want to get into is this dash right here, man. There was a few gripes about the dash, like, yeah, man, it's too much. All this information is redundant and stuff like that. I agree. This side right here, I never really look at it. The only thing I look at on this side is probably the C temp right there. I look at that to monitor, like, you know, the temperature of the engine and all that. And the gas gauge, I look at it over there. But the gas gauge is over here too. But I see what Yamaha was doing with this. They put some of that important information right there big, so you don't gotta squint down and look at it. I really wish they had a couple more options on here, on this big screen view. It would even be nice to have like the gear indicator over there, right? That would be nice to do that. Or maybe some of the suspension modes have it over there. Or the clock, like, why didn't you guys put the clock right here? That would have been nice to have the clock right there so I can just look at the time easy. But it's not a big gripe about it, you know what I mean? It's something you can look past. You got the time in other places. But I would have liked to have that there, especially if you're gonna do the split screen and, you know, act like it's some type of benefit of having that. So yeah, like one thing I will say about riding this bike, if I was on that ZX10 and these people were driving so slow, I would be like pissed off, man. Cause that bike doesn't act right at low speeds, man. It just doesn't. I mean, like even with the tune, compared to this, that bike doesn't want to go slow. Like anything under 40 miles per hour is hell for that bike. Even though it's smooth, it's hell compared to this. Oh, the key slot right here is kind of weird, something I gotta get used to, but I kind of like it because it's ducked off and out the way. The only time you really got problem with it is if the phone is in front of there and you're trying to get down in there, but man, I ain't no real gripe. Overall, I love this bike, man. It's got this these guards for the hands so your hands not getting cold. The heated grips, ah yes, the heated grips. This bad boy comes with the heated grips. Heated grips are like underrated, especially when it starts to get cold. Cause I remember I was riding that ZX10 around this time last year and I'm like, man, my hands are cold. And the thing about heated grips, for those of you who don't have heated grips or never had heated grips, let me tell you something about these heated grips. The heated grips, they really come in handy when it gets cold and you need your hands to use these controls. Like, no hands on these controls and it's a bad look, you know what I'm saying? If you can't feel your hands, it's a pretty bad look. So the heated grips, The heated grips on this bad boy are legit, man. They really come into use. You know, like I said, ain't nothing like having numb hands on a motorcycle. You can't feel none of the controls, can't feel the turning signals, you can't feel the throttle. The first time of me actually being on a motorcycle and my hands went numb, man, I almost panicked, man. What we looking like up there? It ain't looking too bad. But I almost panicked, man. I'm like, I can't feel nothing on this bad boy. So, heated grips definitely come into use. What's going on? Alright. Heated grips definitely come to use on this bad boy. Riding position is A1. I haven't written 2 up on this bad boy yet, so I can't give you a review on that. But when I do, I'll be sure to post it so you guys can check it out and see some of my thoughts on that bad boy. But I love it, man. As far as sturdiness, like just feeling the bike and actually feeling if the bike feels good, like it can handle, you know what I mean, like it can handle some rough riding and some deep turns and stuff. Man, this bad boy is lovely in the turns. As far as steering and stuff like that, lovely in the turns compared to my ZX-10 too. Like, trust me, I love the ZX-10, but this bad boy getting them turns too. One thing I will say is that the ground clearance isn't as good as the ZX-10. I was getting nifty with Matt, man, over in the mountains. Scraped the pegs up a couple times. But a lot of that's due to me actually still learning how to ride and learning body position and stuff like that. Like, I could have got my body off the bike a little bit more to make those turns still tight at the same speed, but I didn't do that, so that's on me, man. But overall, I love this bike, and that's going to be the conclusion of the 1,000 mile review on this bad boy. Who would I suggest this bike to? I would suggest this bike to about everybody, actually. Everybody. If you ride around the city, I would suggest this bike to you. If you like to go fast, I would suggest this bike to you. If you like to do wheelies and stuff like that, I would suggest this bike to you. If you like to go long distance, I would suggest this bike to you. If you like a bike that looks good, I would suggest this bike to you. Now, if you want to do the whole crotch rocket thing on this bad boy, this ain't the bike for that. Get you an R1 or something like that, as far as like the Yamaha family. Let me show y'all the bright lights on here too. So to activate the brights is real easy. Press that button. Now you got your brights. When you put the brights on, that enables both lights to come on. So some people like riding like this all the time. Sometimes I do ride like that. It looks nice. The one with the one eye, I like the way that one eye looks too. But yeah, I would suggest this bike to everybody. Mom, dad, brother, sister, everybody I would suggest this bike to. I have no regrets about this bike so far. No problems. Oil was pretty easy to change. I adjusted the chain on this bad boy. I did the first service myself. I'll post up a video of some of that stuff as well. But yeah, overall, 22 Yamaha Tracer 9 GT. Lovely bike, man. If you want a bike that's an all-arounder, this is the bike to get. You're looking at what, 15K retail? Can't lose, man. Can't lose. So this is 6 Gear Cutlass, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. This is the end of review here. If y'all got any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'll make a video for y'all. Any questions you guys got, let me know, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Love y'all. Peace.